Welcome to the Wee Dram. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Gordy.
And we are the Wee Dram.
It's true.
At this point, anyway. All right. So,
yes. So we took a little time off.
Yeah, a little summer vacation.
So now
I think,
we're
both
back
of us,
here, and it's rainy out and getting colder, and the plants are dying, and that would be fall.
You know, once again, we should probably go. This is the
Podcast?
This follows after the video portion. It's got the same name, same number, all those kind of things.
So this
if
is
you're
the Wee
interested-
Dram podcast.
Yeah.
And the Wee Dram YouTube channel is sort of like a visual review.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
you doing it, and this is where it gives me a chance
yeah.
to taste it.
And well, we're doing it because you're filming it.
Yeah.
So even though it doesn't look like you're there, you're actually everywhere.
I'm all over it.
You're omnipresent.
All right, so hey,
what
tonight,
do we have tonight?
Tonight
What are we
is the
hearing?
Macallum 12 year.
Yes.
Sweet stuff here.
Sweet. How do you know?
Well, I mean, I don't know it's sweet. I'm just saying, like, it's been good to... this one has actually been one I'm looking forward to because I haven't had it for a long time. Years.
Macallum?
Years.
Any
Maybe a
Macallum?
decade. Maybe
No, you drank some Macallum with me when I first moved to White Rock.
Oh, did you have it then?
Yeah, I had a
Okay.
Macallum Gold at that
Not
time.
that memorable, I guess.
You did say you liked it.
Did I? Okay, well, I
Yeah.
hope that happens tonight.
Yeah,
I do.
I do too.
And, you gave it a pretty positive review. A 3.5
Three.
is...
Well, it's a 3.
It's
but
a 3.
It
It's a
deserves
solid
a
3.
good 3.5.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
But it falls down on a few things for me. Certainly the alcohol by volume.
Yeah.
But it
You
gains
know what?
on the age statement,
Didn't
so
even
that's
realize
nice.
that. That does suck. Why do they
Yeah.
do that?
ABV 40%. Yeah, to make as much as they can.
It's a waste.
Or
It's cheaping out. We've talked about this.
We've talked about it.
So let's go right to the nose here, or
Okay.
I'll go right to the nose.
yeah.
You've
You're
nosed
on
it.
it. You're on it.
I'm getting really like it's smelling like iodine to me. Maybe a sweet iodine. Like there's a very medicinal smell right off. But you
Yeah.
know, I haven't had a Scotch in a long time, so
Yeah. No, I kind of toed around that too.
but there's a deep sugary flavor, almost molasses like.
Molasses. Interesting. Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe sweeter than that though. Not as
Well, that's why I went with the honey. I went with honey,
honey.
and grass.
mm.
Honey and grass, with
Honey
an
and
undertone
grass.
of dampened wood, was where I was at in the video. I've only had I'm still only maybe 2.5 sips into this dram, so
Yeah.
it's still pretty fresh for me. And it's important to note this is a freshly uncorked bottle, so it's been uncorked in the last half an hour.
Right.
So we are drinking.
Yeah,
it hasn't oxidized at all, and in fact, we left the cork back on, which, for safety reasons, we've learned that's important.
Yeah, we learned the hard way.
You can spill Scotch, and sometimes entire bottles.
And you know the funny, that's like it's the Talisker that's always been taking the hit, right? Wasn't it the Storm? And it was the 10
Oh, yeah.
that smashed off.
An
The
entire-
tragedy, we had an accident
entire
in the
bottle.
Wee Dram.
Yes, we did.
And we lost a
We
soldier
lost a whole
without even
corking it.
without even corking it.
It fell. It leaked from the bottom of the bottle out of the box into the carpet here in the Wee Dram, and we didn't wash the carpet.
Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping that it would
It
smell
would have
a little more
smell. I know it
Talisker-y.
certainly did right after it broke, but
It's just evaporated.
It
huh?
just evaporated.
Well, your carpet's clean.
Carpet.
It's an
seems
expensive
clean.
carpet
Oh,
cleaner, or is it?
I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty amazing though. I'll give it that. It certainly has no like I remember having a beer in here that exploded, and it smelled for
Yeah, beer
some
is
time.
worse.
And so here's to whiskey once again, just for being great. It doesn't even hold its smell in the room.
All right, I'm gonna go and taste this guy.
Taste it.
Macallum 12.
Macallum 12 double cask.
I don't think I
So-
realized it was a Speyside whiskey until today, which is pretty sad.
I always
But,
thought it was a Highland.
So did I.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to, if there was a quiz.
Well, it says that on there, doesn't it?
Well, but every Speyside is a Highland
I know, but then why call it Speyside then?
because there's a whole bunch of rivers there.
So Spey.
And one of the
equals
rivers is the
Speyside.
River Spey.
Yeah,
And
it's close by it.
Yeah. So this is a river whiskey, which is, I think,
It's intriguing. It sounds good.
yeah.
I like the sound of that.
they're like river elves or river, folk. Like, because you get in the Highlands, you've got all that elevation. So a lot of your spring water is not river, it's more glacial.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but
Yeah,
it picks,
that sounds good
well,
to me.
Glacial runoff picks up a lot of minerals, and that's not to say rivers don't have a lot of minerals in them too. But rivers have this, a deeper, heavier flow. So the water is going to be by nature different and might have an influence on the whiskey.
I hope so.
Yeah.
As I said like a while ago, I was going to try. Here we go. It brought back memories of when I think I first tried it. And it actually had a pretty good mouthfeel. There was a
feel
nice
that
amount of spice.
Chocolate, kind of a like toffee, kind of
It felt thick. It felt thick like toffee too.
like a, what am I trying to get at here? Custard.
Custard, I don't know.
But not the custardy vanilla custard.
Not sweet.
It's more like a toffee custard or like a. Yeah.
Yeah, very toffee. Toffee E?
Toffee E.
It does taste like I remember it tasted now. It's all, and it's not a bad overall flavor for me. It works for me. Mm-hmm. I would have it again, and I wouldn't scoff at it like a Glenfiddich.
Right.
Which is kind of the way, I did it in the early days. Everything was, although, again, I want to try that again. I want to try the Livets and the Fiddichs again, but I just, up until this point, they never did anything for me. They tasted like blends, and I guess that's why I never really liked the Macallum, because it has a bit of a sherry go, but it's not too sherry. Mm-hmm. It's not full of sherry. It's not packed with it.
No, and they have Macallum's noted, and I can't speak to this bottle specifically. We'll have to do a little bit of work on this, but they've always used a PX sherry cask
Tell me
as
what that
opposed
is.
to. Well, I don't know. All I know is it's not Oloroso, which is really the more common sherry cask that you hear. So PX just means it's a different type of sherry, So sherry is a wine. It's a fortified wine, and it's put into casks, and then obviously the casks are borrowed after they're used for sherry for distilling or for holding the whiskey after it's been distilled and put in the barrels. So that's kind of the crib note there. But the PX sherry is different sherry than what's commonly used throughout the single malt world, and from what I understand, somewhat unique to Macallan. It might be used in other ones, but Macallan, what I'm trying to say and all that
I think
is
I have
that
heard it.
Macallan has its sort of own sherry flavor, which is different from other sherries. And when I sherried whiskeys, that's to say,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's worth noting anyway, and certainly worth keeping in mind when you drink this and compare it to other whiskeys that are also have some sherry finish to them.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't scream it for me, so that's good. It's got that going for it. It's not really super complex.
No, I
but
noticed
I like
that
the
too.
subtly.
What do you think of the finish?
Subtly. The finish is almost.
Did it warm
it
up for
hangs
you?
a little bit. Right now, I'm not getting any. I'm not tasting it in my mouth, and I'm having it to sit for a bit. So I don't know. It's not staying with me.
Mm-hmm. I noticed it warmed up quite a bit for me, but
It's not horrible. It's not. I mean, and that's I don't.
yeah,
mean
but
like
it didn't
that.
do anything other than
No.
that. It just sort of gave like a nice like pulsing warmth, a little heat, and then it kind of. So it let me know it was there. Now I think that has a lot to do with the 40% ABV. If that could just be higher, maybe that would be a more intense experience on the end.
But it does have that viscosity, which we talked about.
Little
Or I
bit.
said I thought it had a little bit of that in the mouth.
It,
it
like I
felt
did
thick
too,
enough.
the thickness, yeah,
Thick enough to
yeah.
make it.
Yeah,
with
no,
the
I would
spice,
agree with
it was
that.
a good little combo.
So, and again, you can only imagine what it would be like if they let it occur at a higher alcohol by volume. Do you
I
think
don't
that
know.
would improve it? I do. I believe it would. I
Will
think
make
it'd improve any whiskey.
I think it would just. I don't know if it would improve any whiskey.
No?
Because there is a point to where it just becomes too strong.
Oh no!
And
I'm saying 3 to 6% is all I'm talking about right now. It's just
So
taking it
just
from 40 up
keeping
a
it at
bit.
43. Yeah,
43 to 46 seems to me to be the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get above 46, you it can be wicked.
Yeah, but it can also.
It can
be
also
just
turn
strong.
on you and like.
And then you've got to
Yeah.
start adding water and
Yeah.
you don't want to do that.
Well, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
to
but
do
then
that,
I figure
but-
like just craft it good without the water. That's what I've always looked
Yeah,
for.
I like
don't
that
know.
too. I prefer to. I mean, we're definitely on the same ilk in terms of rather. I'm not a big water adder, but I also do believe I'm missing out a little bit because just how much literature and how much people are into adding a bit of water to their whiskey.
Yeah, I guess, but
Do you wanna-
I just don't think it's all that.
Well, until you practice it, how do you know though? Right? I mean, you've got to kind of go there until and
I
then
guess so, but every time I have done it. It's not like we've never done it.
True.
It just doesn't do anything for me.
For you, yeah.
Well, yeah, for me it doesn't. It doesn't. It takes everything and it waters it down. The smell is less. Although the smell would be the only time I would say maybe
It can release a bouquet.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
It usually smells sweeter though on a whole. You know, it'll take away that smokiness or that peatiness if that's what you look for.
I guess I would say why I'm intrigued by adding water and why I think it has some value is that whatever you're tasting without it can be compared to what you're tasting with it. So as long as you don't overwater it and you just add a small amount, it gives you something that might allow you to see the whiskey in total in a more meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make some sense?
Yeah.
Because I think that what I've learned is that by drinking two whiskeys together that are different single
that's
malts,
fun, yeah.
that it forces out different qualities in each other, and so each become greater. So I'm thinking water might, in its own way, do the same sort of thing.
Maybe
Give you a comparison point that allows you to deepen your knowledge and understanding of what the whiskey's all about, you know?
Well, I definitely agree with you as far as comparing one to the other and doing that. But when you add water, it feels like a different game altogether for me. You know, it's not like you're trying something else and you're able to say, oh, this tastes. You know, there's a drastic difference, and I guess maybe that's just because my palate isn't developed. But there's not a drastic difference between when you add water to a Scotch, other than making it just get weaker. You know, and with the amount
Drastic
you pour,
difference. I would focus on that and say I would agree. It's not drastic. It's definitely not drastic.
No, it would be.
But
different.
I don't know if I'm seeking drastic though. You know, like
No,
I'm
but
just
that's why
seeking-
it's easy to when you go side by side. That's the beauty of that. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
one's got
Right,
peach,
right, where
this
it's
one's
more
got lime.
dramatic,
This
where
has
you-
got citrus.
yes,
This has
yes,
got and
yes.
you,
No,
you
and-
start. They boom. They come
Agreed,
out and punch
agreed.
you in the head.
Agreed. But can you agree that, you know, by adding a bit of water, you might get to know the whiskey in a greater perspective than if you
Well,
had.
I think that's
Yeah,
granted.
that's a
for
fair
sure.
thing,
It's just,
yeah.
do you want to know it in that perspective?
I
With
don't
the
wanna
water,
know that
you know?
part
I don't
of you.
want to know you
I
with
don't
water.
want to know that side of you. I don't think you're that funny. I don't think we should carry on with these jokes.
I don't like to hide behind masks. You know, show.
Yeah, but that's then.
No, I know,
then you
it's
get into. Then we should be drinking cast strength every time. Then, if you're gonna follow that logic, you know.
No, that's not the same logic.
It would be
It's
the
totally
same
not
logic
the
because
same logic.
because what you're saying then is that it's okay to allow the people at Macallum to water down my whiskey, but I'm not going to do it.
No, they're
personally.
watering it down. You're right.
Yeah,
but that's their job.
And I
it's
would
not
say,
your
but
job.
almost every other whiskey on our shelves up here
Yeah.
has been watered down by distillers.
Oh,
They're
yeah, of course.
They're making that choice
Yes.
for you.
But
so,
they're giving it to you as they think you should have it. That's the way I feel.
yeah.
You know, otherwise they should put
Right,
more water
okay.
in and say, this is a 40%er and this is the best way it tastes, right?
I generally would agree. You don't, but I would. I would like to try it.
Okay,
And
you should put some water in right now.
I should.
Talking so big.
I'm not worried about putting water in.
You should
There's
just
some
splash
water
it
right
in, though.
here.
I know there's some water. Let's try it.
Yeah, I'll just have
Here,
a
can
little-
one of the splash more?
Yeah, let's just put a little more in here.
How much?
Give me about an ounce.
Yeah,
That's good.
because otherwise, you know, you
I'm
could
just
wreck it.
gonna do-
Just be careful. I would almost like put it in your hand or something and splash it in.
That's okay.
Oh, here it goes. Here goes the water. It's coming down the shaft. It's from an old Balvenie bottle, and it's in. And actually, you know, I thought that was actually a pretty good pour. Nice job.
Thanks.
That looked good.
So if it just sits.
Just sits in that little pocket. That's yeah. All right.
Okay.
Here we
Now
go.
let's-
First try with
let's
water.
Wheel
in
it around.
years.
Wheel it around.
Well, first thing you notice, what I've always noticed with any Scotch is it kind of does some sort of little chemical reaction on the top, and you can see it kind of separating. It's like oil and water almost in there, you know.
Yeah.
It pushes itself around, which is kind of cool. I mean, clearly it's doing something.
Totally.
Well,
Might intensify some of that alcohol.
I think again it takes it away. I don't smell
No?
any of it now.
Really?
It's way less harsh.
Oh, I don't know, but
Like
way
okay, harsh.
less
This sounds bad. Like you want a harsh smell. I don't want that. I'm just saying
Maybe if it's way less harsh, it's good. But
it smells a lot sweeter now.
see, there's one note I get now that I didn't get before, which is like more the wood. Now I can deep inside there, I get the wet wood and it comes out even more. Maybe it's just because I can hear the rain outside.
I'd have to agree with you there.
But I do have more oak now than I did before. Should we
Maybe
give it a
oak.
taste? Give it a taste.
Let's do it.
Okay.
There's not much changing for me there.
No, it's not much changing for me either, but I like it. It tastes good.
Yeah, but it tasted good without it too.
Yeah, I would agree. No big deal.
On this one, it doesn't matter. I know a lot of people would say that it matters on some more than others. Right?
No, we can always drink a little more and find out. Like, who knows? Maybe just one.
No, I mean like a different
No,
scotch.
I
may-
get that, but
Oh, okay.
like I'm just saying, as we drink it down a bit, maybe it'll just continue to be different in a little bit, or
You
it
mean,
might not.
do you mean this?
Yeah,
this
yeah.
glass?
Just now, as we
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, let's move along.
Yeah. I haven't even given any thought.
I
yet.
did give it a thought. I was kind of looking back there. While
I
we were
gave
talking
okay. I gave
earlier.
a little tiny
I have
thought
only
when you
one.
had- You only have one? I could go
Okay,
three right
I'll
away.
think it again. That's the bonus of being right by the bar, where you can
Makes a
you can
difference.
really.
Makes a difference.
You have three?
I have three. Really, I could go four.
Are you serious?
Even yeah.
I'm gonna argue with you then on the four.
Okay, I can go three. Three easy.
Well, okay. I think I know two of yours. I'll name off the four, and you see if I get them. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I did dial it back to three, but I'll give
Okay.
you if
I'm
you
gonna-
can get in four guesses. If you can get all three, I'll still be impressed.
all right. Okay. Here we go. Tamdu,
Correct.
Royal Brackla,
Correct.
the Balvenie,
No.
the Dalwhinnie.
No.
Really? So you're gonna go Dalmore?
Yeah.
Wow. Because
So
I didn't.
Dalmore, Tamdu, Royal Bracklaw.
These kind of like they're the same.
But that's why I chose them because
I guess that's true.
they were the closest sherried whiskeys.
Well, I was close. Okay, so I haven't got the last one. Is that right?
No, I
What
only
do we
had
got?
three.
Oh, okay.
I bucked it down.
If you put in four, what would it be? Don't tell me. So you got the Tamdu,
But
you got the
I totally
Dalmore.
withdrew though. I didn't even. I think you're closer on the Balvenie.
That's the one I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
right
actually,
away. That was
yeah.
my only choice
Oh,
when
really?
I said I had one.
Ah.
So I feel happy about that.
Yeah, I think it's cool because I didn't think of it, and the only reason I didn't think of it was, why didn't I think of it?
Maybe you couldn't see it.
No,
It's far away, Gordy.
no, it's sticking out though.
Yeah, I know, but it's on the side.
Be the
You can
next
only
one.
see the back.
Whatever the next one is, I can't see.
That's Robert Burns.
Ah, Robbie.
Saved.
Robbie Burns. Okay.
Okay, well,
Balvenie.
there you go. So
Balvenie.
okay,
So
do
why
you
do
wanna
I like
that?
the Balvenie? It's a triple cast, so
Yeah.
you're using three different types of wood,
Double.
which makes
Triple.
makes more sense. You know, Jonathan, it's rare where you beat me out on this one, eh?
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, it is rare. I don't. I usually.
I thought
I'm all
I
over
thought-
the map on this.
I was
one.
actually thinking Brockla early on. It just knew that the Macallum would whip it.
Yeah, well, that's just it.
Whereas I like the Balvenie way more because I think the Balvenie is going to give it a real run. Because the last time we had the Balvenie, we called it. It was a big, cruisy, comfy Lincoln. Remember, it was like da 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 da. It was like we really enjoyed it, and the Balvenie has the advantage of being oxidized. It's been out for a while now. We cracked this somewhere at the beginning of the summer. Because remember, we finished the
Right.
entire one because it's our water bottle now.
It should.
Comparison. Scotch.
The Balvenie
triple cask.
Triple cask.
And it has
12 years.
a 12-year-old
Well,
age
it's just-
statement.
Yeah, this
So-
is good. So
yeah,
they're right
it's
around
really
the same
good.
time.
Really
It's
good.
a good idea. All right, well, I
James,
get the honors.
James joiced away into the glass.
Oh, yeah, let's see. I'll lean in and see if we can get that because that is always a good
Pour
sound.
cork though, eh?
It is a pour cork. You're right. So this one sort of bucks that trend.
A little bit, because it is a tasty whiskey.
That was good.
Oh, very good. Okay.
All right. Yeah, the cork just slides in.
Yeah, I know, a little disappointing.
So in that case, if you put the cork back in, you're not really in safe zone, are you?
Well, you are, and if the bottle fell over.
The cork would just slide out.
You're worried about that. Eh?
Yeah. That's nicer.
It's a nicer nose.
It's richer. It's more woody. You get that right off the bat. No water added. It's woody.
It's woody, and just it's
But there's a sweetness to it.
it is
It's a sweet wood.
dry.
I
wood.
really like that.
dry sweet wood. Dry sweet wood.
I can't remember exactly how this tastes. I know, like you said, we did both enjoy it last
We
time.
enjoyed it. We compared it to a luxury,
Really?
large cruising
Like a caddy?
vehicle, like a boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Better than a caddy?
Well,
What's a cruising vehicle?
caddy or a Lincoln,
American.
American motor.
All right, let's
Give it a go.
If you go in deep, there is a bit of a burn. There's a bit of a alcohol.
Yeah, it's fun
It
to
is
go.
almost similar to the
Yeah.
other one.
But but not. Well, that's one way to look at it. Have a quick.
Yeah, might as well.
See, it's a higher.
Oh wow. Well, this has
different
got
wood.
water in it too, though.
Yeah. Well, no, but very little.
Enough though to maybe make the test not quite as scientific.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Okay. All right. Cheers. So I have a less intense finish, but a more complex finish. And working backward, the flavors are more subtle. Not as, I don't find as engaging off the bat as the Macallan, but more rewarding in the finish.
More rewarding in the
Yeah,
finish.
definitely. Like, it's not as intense. It's kind of like but it has that, like, what I like in whiskeys is it has sort of a couple of moments where it changes and is a little bit different. It's a little here, it's a little there. I really like it.
And just in the finish, you're saying that's where it differs. That's where you like it more. You know, I like it more all around.
Yeah?
It's just screaming wood to me.
Yes.
And,
Well, it is
and
a triple.
It smelt that way.
Yeah.
It tasted that way. It finished that way. So it's not super complex or and I don't think the finish. I think the finish is staying with me longer.
Maybe, and I also find it has like a moment where it almost hides away and then just kind of comes in later in the game a little bit, which I really like.
Okay.
You know? So whereas the other one, as you drank it down, it seemed to emerge and disappear and sort of make its statement, but without sort of like any play. It just came at you and got you. Whereas this one, I don't know, I'm going to let it linger on my tongue a bit here. Feels like a little pool of golden honey on my tongue.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fades away and then kind of comes back and lets me know it's there and then just sort of rides it out a little bit and quiets right down. Yeah. Should we go over to the other?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let's go right over to the Macallan 12. Have a quick little...
It is watered down. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. quick. I mean, maybe you shouldn't rush to judgment, but the Balvenie, and I'm not as good as with descriptive stuff, but the Balvenie is more pleasant to me. It's more enjoyable. The Macallan with the water, compared to the Balvenie, I think it'd be better to try the Macallan 12 without the water to compare it properly because it just tastes so much more. I know you didn't put much water in, but it's a lot less strength at all. What is this one? Isn't this 42?
40 as well?
Yeah, it's 40 as well.
It
isn't
is,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of weird, but even so, the Macallan tastes that much. It has that much less flavor.
Right. See, I would say there's something high up in the nose that they're very similar. It's like this is a whole nother like half octave above the Balvenie in terms of sort of coming at me. Like it has a
Base flavor.
yeah, and like even just a little more. I would say that the Macallan has a few elements that are sort of more in your face than the Balvenie. And I also personally think, and this is, we might differ on this, the Macallan initially on the tongue, it beats out the Balvenie. It's more active initially, whereas the Balvenie is sort of like waiting for its moment and then kind of appears. And the Macallan is more of like upfront. Like as I'm drinking it initially, I really, really like it. And then I'm kind of like, and then it just finishes and it's like, it's done. Whereas the Balvenie, I have no issues with it at the beginning. It's sort of like very subtle. And then it grows on me and does something. And then as I drink it, it really comes alive for me.
Okay.
And then there's, like I say, what I like about when I drink it is that it sort of fades away like it's gone. And then it has a hidden moment and comes back. And that's something I think is really remarkable in whiskeys. And the Balvenie has that over the Macallan. So overall, in terms of the way I see it, is Balvenie is probably a mark or two above.
Yeah.
They're both sort of that 3.5, and both really good, but both quite expensive.
Well, do we know, like,
And
approximately
both,
what we're talking
well,
here?
one it was so yeah. I think honestly, if we had to,
This is
I'd
a
say the
liter.
Balvenie is probably all that
It's not
aside.
fair.
If I had to boil it right down, I'd say that's probably more of a $95, whereas this is more of
This is 95?
This is probably closer to maybe
The Balvenie is
yeah,
n-
about 100 or 95, and this one's more like 85, 90. You know, so there's a difference in price to the advantage. But they're both. The problem is they both grind themselves out at 40%, right?
Yeah,
You can't.
and the price point is
They're
not
both.
good.
They're
I'm
both
not buying
super
these.
expensive, and they're both
Yeah.
40%ers.
Yeah, I
And
have
so
money
it's hard
to spend.
hard to put it at a 4.
Yeah.
And each are really good and super fun to drink and really quality whiskeys.
Yeah, and if
but
they were-
but they kill themselves on the 40. If
Yeah,
this
I
was a
think
40
you're
per 3 or 45 or even a 46, each of these, we'd be talking 4-star whiskeys. I really think that. I think it would win you over.
Hard to say on that level, but in principle, I agree with you. But if I had the money to spend, if I had $100 to spend and I could get either one of these, I'm probably not going to go with that. I'm
Yeah.
going to go with something else.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, depending on where my
Because you
whiskey
can get a
shelves are at.
4-star whiskey for
if
for
I was
$100
if I only had a couple bottles around and I had $100 to
Yeah.
spend, I'd be getting a Talisker, I'd be getting a Lafroig 10, I'd be getting all sorts of
Yeah.
other ones. And if I had $50 to buy 2 bottles, I'd probably think I could get a little. I could probably get 2 3-star whiskeys for 50.
Yeah.
You know, like an old Pulteney and a something else. You know, in a Highland Park or
Right,
a
true
Boom,
that.
or a Bowmore 12 and a Highland Park 12.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have your Bowmore 12 and your Highland Park 12 on your bar, why would you be going out of your way to get the Macallan 12 and the Balvenie Triple Cast 12? You wouldn't.
No.
You definitely buy, you know, for the one bottle you get 2
Yeah.
really good bottles. And I
Yeah,
think
it's
you
very
got
true.
you got to really be careful with that, right? Because
Yeah.
unless you have extra money to spend, you have, you know, $100 a month or $200 a month to spend on whiskey, it's very difficult.
And if we're trying them, it's never a loss to try it out.
No.
But you know, it's nice to know where they sit.
Yeah.
And both of these, I think, have pretty much been the same as kind of the way I remembered them. You know,
Mhm.
because of their price range, because of the way they taste, they're not a go-to Scotch that I'm going to make sure that I have all the time.
all the time on the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But nice to have.
Yeah, nice to
You know,
try.
and it's fun to have you know, when you get a whatever we've got, 28, 30, 33, 35 whiskeys. It's nice to have a couple of these around, right? That's
Oh,
how
yeah.
you fill out a bar. You
Uh-huh.
got to have some, and it's good too. The Balvenie Triple Cask is still one that you can't find in liquor stores commonly. At least we can't. So that's not to say you couldn't get it at Legacy or
No.
whatever. But we, you know, it's not on the average shelf of the liquor store. You know, it's just not. So that's another thing. It's
Uh-huh.
difficult to gain access to it. So that, on the one hand, makes it rarer and more interesting and more collectible. But on the other hand, just on the simple fact it's less accessible, it's sort of whatever. You know, it isn't even. You know, if you can't go up and get it when you want it, what's the point? You know.
Oh. Anyway, you know what? Let's move on. Let's move on to
Quote of the night.
William Faulkner has something to say about. What does he have to say?
Go ahead and read it.
Civilization begins with distillation. William Faulkner.
Okay, I want to hear your thoughts on that, and I want to.
You want me to start? Why do I think that's so cool?
Yeah, you wanted to go with this one over another one, which we'll eventually do. But I just wanted to hear your beginning thoughts there.
Well, I read a really interesting article in National Geographic magazine, and they made the argument in National Geographic magazine that normally people and traditionally people have believed that the way that humans began agricultural settlement was because they got into growing their vegetables, growing their wheats, growing their barleys, and they realized that it made more sense to be sedentary and build permanent structures and live in communities based around agriculture.
All right.
And that's how, like, you know, civilization began. And Faulkner is pointing out that like when people started to figure out how to take grains and take fruits and get into fermentation and start to create alcohol, that in fact it wasn't the fact that we could grow things that caused us to want to be sedentary people. It was actually
I think I know where you're going with it.
that fermentation. It was alcohol that caused people to want to stay put. So
Just because they could continually produce it.
right,
Yeah.
that they it was
It's the way we are, I
it
guess.
was more the driving force.
Okay.
It wasn't just the security of having enough food to
And
get
what-
through the winter.
What is that based on?
Well, it's based on the idea that
Like like there's got to be a particular culture that's based on, does it not?
well, it's sort of across the board. Like pretty much every human culture has some form of
Well, a lot of them moved, I
recreational alcohol and drugs. Like so, to be
guess.
honest,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, all right. So
Except for
everything
the
is based on.
I think the
Making
Inuit.
booze.
The Inuit had some issues because
They didn't. That's true. They didn't. But they were.
But they had
were
no
more nomadic,
but,
right?
But well, they had no ability to ferment because of temperatures, so they actually couldn't do it. So
well, even in the southern states.
no, I'm talking about the Inuit.
Oh, the Inuit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you just meant like.
No.
All right.
No,
all right.
in fact, native peoples, as soon as Iron Age peoples and other types of once like the crossover point occurred, one of the very first things I know, it's easier with the hands, but it doesn't work well on podcasts. Anyway, the point is once first contact was made, one of the first skills that was passed along was the ability to create booze.
Right.
Like, so that it wasn't like it was always like, oh, these guys showed up with the whiskey, and the whiskey is like as soon as they showed up with the whiskey, the native peoples were like, well, don't just give us this, like teach us how to make it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But if you go back into history, way back into history, when is the first time that you can say that you've learned where a society had alcohol?
Yeah, it's a good point. I would say it's BC.
Yeah.
I think from this article, from what I could see, there was like a very basic mash that was being brewed from barley. So they were doing a basic beer at 2000 to 1500 BC or something. And
Okay.
I know it was
So
like Mesopotamian culture, in the river of civilization that coincided too with like basic beer, that there was a fermented beer that they began to develop. And so again, going back to the original point, about civilization and distillation, it's really makes you think about agricultural and agrarian societies in different ways.
Oh yeah.
Because now you add this other component, which is perhaps people just enjoyed sitting around drinking so much that they didn't want to go on long hikes, and they didn't want to have to pack up their stuff and go. And, they were more willing to sit a winter out because they're just like, well, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they go hand in hand. I think the grains and the vegetables and the ability to,
A consistent source of food.
yeah, right, and develop sheep and goats and have the odd, whatever, cow.
Yeah.
You with me here? What are we
Oh yeah,
doing?
they'd have to be.
What are you doing?
They'd have to have cows.
Are you,
No,
are you checking out some Google?
No.
Are
I
you
was
Googling?
just going to look at the quote again and ponder it. Civilization begins with distillation.
Is that what it says? Civilization begins?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think? Do you agree with that whole possibility?
I just want to go to the roots of or the essence of what he's trying to say, and I don't know. Because coming from your point, though,
Isn't it pretty obvious though?
yeah, but coming from your point,
Yeah.
like the whole agricultural angle, right?
Right.
Like that makes sense to me. But does it? I mean, it's kind of a romantic thing to say, especially if you like the stuff, right?
Yeah.
But does it really begin there? Because isn't it
With
more about the
civilization?
food? Yeah. Civilization begins with like farming,
Shelters and
essentially.
farming?
Like consistent food.
Right.
And yeah, a byproduct of that could be alcohol. It could just be a happy, happy thing that happened along with that.
Well, I definitely should read the article again. I'm drawing off some.
No. I'm
some
just
thoughts.
It's
and some
a,
ideas, you know?
Yeah, no. I like it. I'm just trying to get down to like exactly like. Do
Well,
I agree with that?
okay,
Do I
so
agree with that
let's
quote?
or do you want to look at that quote without thinking about that angle? Maybe.
Yeah,
Let's
I
just
need to
try
get
that.
off
Do you
it.
have a fresh take?
Okay. Civilization begins with distillation. Distillation, right?
So, okay, maybe think of it in terms of social terms. Why is distillation important to our civilization in terms of how we communicate and how we interact?
Right, the majority of us anyway. Those who like it totally get it. They appreciate it, and it makes sense for us. There's other people that don't need to have alcohol in order to enjoy life.
True. And
Yeah.
in fact, if they drink too much alcohol, it ruins their life.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
can just
Right. There's
turn
lots
horrible
of.
and
So a big umbrella statement doesn't necessarily work.
no.
No. But I guess maybe you could say, and this is just throwing out there, maybe more of the artsy kind of people enjoy it more, and they're the ones that would be the dreamers and the idea people that would push society further.
Right. Okay.
So maybe he's talking about that.
Yeah, so how to lubricate the progression of civilization. Is that the point you're trying to make?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree on that. Like, the more you think of civilization isn't a singular state. It's sort of like an evolution, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it's a momentum, right? You can't even interrupt it in any way, right? It just happens. Am I losing you? Am I losing you on that?
Maybe a little bit. But no,
okay,
I'm getting your essence.
I mean, I guess like...
No, I just keep trying to go back to the quote. I don't know why I've got this thing like, I got to take it, I got to really analyze it. And do I really agree with this statement?
Well, so in what way does alcohol influence the establishment or development of civilization? Try it from that point of view.
Right. Well, no, because it's like you said, it's the lubrication in society. Like, I think not only is it a good talking point and a good social thing to do, to a certain extent. I mean, we always talk about this. You don't have to overdo it, but it definitely it helps to generate conversation. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, we could talk about that
Till the cows come home.
You got it.
Here they come.
You got it. Here they come.
Here they come.
Here they come.
All
So
right.
anyway, I think that's probably good. Wrap it up there.
Covered it.
Yeah.
You covered it nicely. Well, the Macallum 12, that was fun. It was interesting. It was tasty. So there's things in our future, though. Hey, could you describe them?
Well,
Yes.
you know what's coming up.
I do. You
And,
know, as we enter into the holiday season,
Yes.
you celebrate.
You do.
know? And you
do.
take
gotta
time to maybe elevate the game a little bit.
Spend a little extra.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
So next fortnight,
A fortnight from now,
a fortnight from now, we are going to get into one of the all-time favorites,
if not
the best,
the best,
Scotch that made us love Scotch.
a Scotch that brought it all together and solidified the possibilities of how enjoyable whiskey can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that Scotch is
Lagavulin
16. And what a Scotch it is. There are some downsides to it, but the only downside, sorry, when I say downside, I just mean color.
Color.
And since we found that out in the last year, it's kind of bummed me out just a little bit, but the flavor is so good that you can look beyond that.
Yes.
You really can.
Yeah, no, they achieved a masterpiece. And
Yeah.
they decided to, unfortunately, artificially enhance that masterpiece. Probably, at the time, it seemed like a good idea. But anyway.
Yeah,
that's
it doesn't
just a
matter.
small
We're
thing.
really, it's always a fun night if you're going to
right.
have some of that.
The king of the Isla, some
Yeah.
might say.
So that's going to be a big one. So we got that coming up, and other than that, Gordy,
We're just going to continue to do what we do.
yeah,
And thank you for all your support out there, whoever you might be.
me and you and a couple of buddies.
Yeah, a couple of friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks to those friends.
Yes, for sure. That about does it for tonight.
Yes.
And another good night. It was fun. It's always fun to get together and have a few Wee Drams.
True that. Could
We
be.
will. We'll see you in a fortnight.
And that's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all. Until
Okay.
next time.
Until next time.
Wee Dram.
Wee Dram. Edit it. Edit it. the editor.
Cut. Okay, let's try that again.
Coalesce with the point of.
Go on in your.
It's been quite a good icebreaker.